Hey guys, how's it going? It is me, Misamango, and I'm here to provide travel tips for Japan, and in specific, this is going to be about currency exchange and how to exchange money before and while you're in Japan. So first of all, the best and number one tip that I would recommend is actually getting traveler's checks. I did this like about 2 days before we went to Japan. And I basically just went to the bank that has my checking account, and I asked them like, okay, like how do I, what's the process in getting them? And they're like, okay, they have like sets amount, like if you want $100, if you want to exchange $100, $150, and $200. So I went $150, and basically they just charged me like $5 for it, which was like, yeah, it was understandable, it was like fine. They just charge you that service fee, and before you go to Japan, it's recommended, or wherever you're traveling to, it's recommended that you sign the checks beforehand, because when you're exchanging it in the other country, they verify that it's yours by your signature. So that's why they have 2 lines on the check. I already use them also. I'll look it up if I can to see like a picture I can provide. So basically you just sign the first one, and then at the airport or at the bank they see it, and then they ask you, sign again please, and then you're like okay, and then they verify that it's the same signature, and then you're good to go. And I would also recommend getting traveler's checks just because it's a higher exchange rate than exchanging your own foreign currency. You just get a higher value for your dollar. And right now the US dollar is higher than the Japanese yen, so it's like a good time to go to Japan. Well, I don't know right now, but when I went it was like a good deal, and I would get more money from my traveler's check than if I had cash on me and I had to exchange it. So now you've landed in Japan and you're wondering, well okay, now that I'm here, I have my check, I have my cash, whatever it may be, you're like, well, where do I exchange it? So what I recommend in getting is the floor guides. This one is from Narita Airport, and this one is from Haneda Airport. So the Narita one, it shows you like basically like where all the levels are and where you can exchange your money or check. And it's super easy. All you have to do, most likely when you get off the plane with all the foreigners, you guys will all go to the banks, and it's just like a little shop in the airport, and you just have to fill out a form before you go up to the teller. There's signs saying that you have to fill it out, so don't be nervous, or just fill out the paperwork, and they provide pens. You have to just fill out your name, address, how much you're exchanging, is it cash, check, and then you just go up to the people at the little booth and they ask for your passport, and then you just have to wait in line while they verify everything. They look at the check a little longer, make you sign it obviously, and then they go to the back, they count their money, they do a little small talk with you, and even if you don't know Japanese, they also speak English, so you don't have to worry about that, and it's like super easy. At the Haneda Airport, there is basically like a 24-hour one, so even if you were like worried like, oh my god, what if my plane gets late, or like what about this, you know, X reason, they are 24 hours. I don't know about Narita, maybe it is, but I just got there like in the evening time, so I'm not too sure. But definitely recommend getting these, especially because we got stranded. So I recommend getting these just so you know where the food courts are, where banking is, and I think where is that? Let me see. Yeah, so it does provide the hours the bank is open, what floor, and then the ATMs. Okay, so if you don't want to go through the bank teller, say you're a little more shy, right next to it there tends to be like an ATM. It's pretty basic. You just have to punch in English, put your card in. I think they took Christian's card, like they sucked it in and we're like, oh my god, but it spits it back out obviously by the end of it. A rule of thumb that that we would use, mainly I would use, because Christian's like, oh Marilyn, it's so easy. Whatever. Okay, so I totally kept my currency and all that, because obviously I'm planning to go back, and I'm like, oh, I can just keep the money. Okay, so this is 1,000 yen, and a little tip on like if you're like, oh my god, if you're like not trying to like think like, okay, how much is this? What I would normally do was just take out the last 2 zeros. So like I just block it with my thumb physically or like mentally, like okay, last 2 zeros. So then 1,000 yen is equivalent to around like 10 US dollars, depending on how much like the currency exchange is right now. But just to give you like a quick guesstimate, it's $10. So that's pretty easy. So yeah, that was basic. So it's pretty easy exchanging money. I personally didn't go into a bank just because I already exchanged a lot of money at the airport, or I had cash and it was just like I was good for the time we were there. Or did I exchange money out anywhere else? No, I did. Okay. So don't freak out even if you don't want to go inside of a bank, because I can't remember where exactly it was, but they always set up, oh, Disneyland. When I went to Disney, okay, that's where it was. They have like, I don't have a map of Disneyland. They have like booths and it says like currency exchange. So even if you are going out like touristy locations, they do offer currency exchange there, so you can do cash. I know they wouldn't, I don't think they took my check because they're like, oh no, not checks here. So they did take cash. So even if you don't go to a bank, if you go to a touristy location, they will most likely provide currency exchange. And yeah, so there's always other alternatives, and don't be shy to ask people. People at the airport are guaranteed to know English, and people at the touristy currency exchange places know English also. So you're good in that. So yeah guys, that was a video on how to do currency exchange in Japan, either at the airport or at a touristy location, or even at the local 7-Eleven that's around every corner, so don't freak out. You can use your debit card. For that, I would just go to your bank, just as a heads up, just ask beforehand like, hey, what am I gonna get charged for pulling out cash over there? And then they probably could give you like a rough estimate, like international charge is $5, or you know, just about that. So if you have any other questions about travel or anything Japan related to that, I will be more than happy to answer them. So yeah, I will be seeing you next time. Bye! Yeah! Dun, 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 my bad. Written in Romaji, so you can just read, like, if you like Nishikasai Station is next, and then it's like if you need a transfer to the